So good afternoon, friends. Let me join all of you and others in congratulating Greenpeace for the campaign. I think this campaign is something which really needs an involvement of all those who believe that we need energy. At the same time, we need energy without the side effects of the so-called modern medicine. So the type of energy we use now is something which will decide whether we get power, for sure, but whether we reduce darkness out of that power or not, we are not so sure. Because some of the type of fossil fuel energy, particularly the one that we are using in India predominantly, is the one which inevitably causes the greenhouse gas emission, and which in turn is actually causing many other environmental, all the households in India to be given the electricity. Fortunately for us, we are still not locked into a system, because that means the type of strategies we need to put in place. The big challenge in India today is how to get back into the economic growth. We are already slided below 5%, and I think all the international agencies unanimously, at least on that count, are agreeing that India's growth won't exceed 5%. Our Prime Minister is also saying the same thing now. So that means if you want to add 1% to GDP, not necessarily we need to use, as we are doing some time ago, more than 1%. We can now actually use less than 1% of energy to get 1% economic growth. But still we need maybe 0.85%, 0.9%. But even if we need that, that means to have 9-10% growth rate, which is our aspiration, we need probably 8-9% growth in the energy sector. 8 to 9% would mean that we'll have to generate. So of course energy is a big basket. When we talk about energy, we are not talking about electricity alone. Electricity is one of the components of energy. But even if we need electricity, which is in fact one of the most drivers of economic growth, we need something like 25,000 megawatts of electricity every year for a long, long time to come. And if we are going to use the same fuel mix, the energy mix that we are using today, more than 200 million tons of coal in the next few years' time. So the economic growth will not happen without electricity, without energy. And to have more electricity and more energy, we need more sources of energy, which we have been using for a long time. And now we are seeing the limitation. In any case, India doesn't have much gas. So now we have decided to increase the gas price more than double, at all, as much as we should. We have the 5th largest producer of wind in the world. And we thought our potential for wind is only 40,000 megawatts. I sit on a NGO's board called Shakti Foundation. Now we have found that the possibility of generating wind in India is not less than 650,000 megawatts, 650,000 megawatts. And that too onshore wind. We'll tell you more about it. That India's potential for wind alone will not be sufficient to get as much electricity for the next 30-40 years, but will be enough to get electricity that we want. The second big potential, and I think the biggest amongst all the renewable energy potential, amongst all sources of energy potential, is the solar energy. We have 300 days of sunshine, is available locally. Oil we are importing 80%, coal we are not importing much, now we are already importing 120 million tons, and in the next 7 years we will be importing 180 million tons. And I think the Planning Commission is very happy with the projection that we will import 80% oil, 90% oil, and our exports are not picking up, causing huge current account deficit, which is devaluing rupee considerably. So just imagine the implications of energy, not just on economic growth per se directly, not just in relation to getting people the electricity that they need because they live in darkness, that we need more electricity, and how to generate that is something which is really going to decide how India is going to progress. So I remember when you mentioned about Electricity Act 2003, as a minister I was piloting that bill in the parliament, and there were a lot of my other colleagues from the other ministries were telling me that we must prescribe minimum renewable purchase obligation into the Electricity Act, which is already there. Why we could not decide the number is for many things. One is the electricity is dominated by the state. So we're already encroaching on the territory of the states, and I had to talk to all the chief ministers of India, all the leaders of opposition, all the farmers' organizations, all the trade unions to get a bill come to that stage where we could put it in the parliament. And therefore, if we had actually rubbed even more, even China, which has little more population than India right now, of course we are catching up very fast with that. India will have more population than China soon. It will be 1.5 billion in another 15 years. But China again does not have as much potential of solar as we have. And therefore we have a tremendous opportunity here. And in that context we are trying to organize an event. We are calling all the countries in the world who have got more than 300 days of sunshine. It will be called as 300 plus days sunshine countries club. We then will commit to make solar energy, and by that we'll actually have a real scalability of making more solar energy generated in India and that in other parts of the world. Which in turn, just because we scale up like this, the prices will fall. Like the mobile phone. The mobile phone prices have fallen because India has 900 million users, China has more than billion users, prices will come down. In any case, I don't think price is an issue today. If you really look at the coal imported price today, of course the import prices are a little bit coming down. And if you compare with the real landed, not just landed cost of coal, but we have to transport it to the hinterland. And if you really use as a real cost of coal, I think solar energy is probably cheaper than the energy that we generate from. Fortunately again, I was piloted that bill into the parliament called Energy Efficiency Law, which is now the law of the land. We have a Bureau of Energy Efficiency, so we can actually drive that through that process. So I think we have a legislative framework. We have probably a possibility, because technology is also available in terms of making solar PV, which is the rooftop that you talked about, or solar thermal, where we can actually generate electricity even using the bulk electricity that we may need. In India, we are not using much of solar thermal, but solar PV on the rooftop will be a great opportunity because in India, the other problem is the land. Where do you put the solar PV plants? If you want a grid-connected solar PV, probably you need more land than what is really available. So one of the best way to do it is to use the rooftop where we are actually got it. Of course, the European Union, I don't think anybody has any capacity anywhere in the world to switch on or switch off. It is not possible. Only sun itself can switch on or switch off. But sun is something which never goes on strike, works all the time, never bothers about whether I have been favored or not favored. Sun is shining all the time. We don't see sometimes whether India is shining or not, but sun shining all the time. So we really need to find out how we can make this happen. So they don't call it switch on the sun. I think call it hook onto the sun. You must really need to find out how we can get to the sun to that purpose. So I'm very happy with the campaign. Congratulations to all of you. And I'm sure only thing that will happen now is by citizens themselves deciding to do something. Our state of affairs of India, I think also we demonstrate that it's not just we have to wait for somebody to come and switch on. We really need to find out how we can switch ourselves on to make it happen. And I'm sure about once we do that, we'll actually see the positive result. So thank you very much. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to call Justice Shah to honor our renewable energy champions. As I call out your names, I would request you to please come on stage. Shri Amit Agarwal from Urja RWA Vasant Kunj. Shri Ashutosh Dikshit. He is a member of the noted advocacy group People's Action, founded in 2002 to impact governance at all levels. Shri Ashutosh Dikshit. Shri Atul Goyal. He is a social activist and serving as the head of Urja, the largest RWA union of Delhi, which works with more than 2,200 RWAs since 2008. Shri Atul Goyal. Shri D.M. Narang from Urja RWA R Block, New Rajendra Nagar. From Indira Gandhi National Open University, Professor Dolly Matthew and Associate Professor Ajay Mahurkar. Shri G.S. Mahajan, Trustee, Senior Citizens Trust, RWA Pocket 4, Mayur Vihar, Phase 1. Retired Wing Commander Jasbir Singh Chadda, Urja RWA east of Kailash. I believe Wing Commander Chadda could not be here with us, but his son Sumit has agreed to take the award on his behalf. Shri Satish Prabhu, he works in Tamil Nadu House as an engineer. Shri Satish Prabhu, I don't think his name. From Delhi School of Social Work, Dr. Seema Sharma. Shri S.S. Sohi. Shri S.S. Sohi, Vice President, Technical Services and Maintenance in Le Meridian. Shri Sunny George, Maintenance Officer at Holy Family Hospital. Shri Yogesh Jain, President, Bhagidari RWA Vijayanagar. Mrs. Anshu Garg, RWA Pocket B, Sukhdev Vihar. May I now request Samit to please present a small memento to Justice Shah. A bouquet and a memento. A big hand for Justice Shah, ladies and gentlemen. I would now like to call on stage Dr. Tobias Engelmeyer, Managing Director and Founder, Bridge to India, and Principal Author of the report. And Shri Anand Prabhu Patanjali, Campaigner, Greenpeace India, along with Abhishek Pratap, Senior Campaign, Greenpeace India, to take us through the power of solar.